What's going on, fight fans? It's your host Sebastian. Welcome back to the Boxing Tip. Now, I already did a quick breakdown for the main event of tonight between Erislandy Lara and Yuri Foreman. So now I'm going to be doing a breakdown on the co-main event of tonight, and that matchup is between Anthony Dirrell and Norbert Nemesapati. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm going to call him Norbert because I don't like butchering people's name too much. And I know that I missed out an L on the picture for Anthony Dirrell. Sorry about that. I was kind of in a hurry. I apologize for my sloppy work. But let's go ahead and talk about the fight. It's a pretty interesting matchup. Once again, I feel like this is one of those stay busy fights for, you know, the main attraction, which would be Anthony Dirrell of this fight. He only had one fight last year versus Caleb Truax, stopping Caleb Truax. It was a pretty exciting fight. And then his previous fights before that were between Marco Antonio Rubio, had a win, unanimous decision over him, and Badou Jack. He had a lost majority decision to Badou Jack, and also lost the WBC title to Jack. He is the main event fighter for tomorrow night between him and James DeGale. Exciting fight. Can't wait for it. I'd say Anthony Dirrell is more popular for his two matchups with Saki Obika, the one ending in a draw, and then comes back and then beats Saki Obika in a unanimous decision. Now Norbert, he's a fairly unknown fighter. You know, he's actually pretty unknown to me. I haven't really had a lot of chances to really do my research about him. This is actually the first time I'm hearing about him, so I'll be honest with you there. I know that he had a fight with Callum Smith, but this would be the first time that I've actually watched him fight live. Yeah, his last meaningful fight was against Callum Smith of the United Kingdom. Fight only went 6 rounds. I'm pretty sure Norbert quit on the stool. But since then, he's had a couple of, you know what I'm saying, couple of fights against some pretty, you know, some pretty bad records from what I'm seeing. From what I've seen on like his box rec and stuff. I think there was one guy who was like 2-62. So I mean, he's had some stay busy fights, probably to get him back into the groove of things. But it seems that he is ready for another shot at another, you know, top fighter. So we'll see how he does. But I'm gonna go ahead and kind of get into a few things after watching, you know, some film of these two guys. I'm gonna go ahead and try to break down to you how they stack up. We'll start with Anthony Dirrell. Now, Anthony Dirrell is what I would like to call your classic athletic boxer, alright? He is a pretty skilled boxer, but he doesn't do anything that really stands out to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, he has very solid fundamentals, but he is a very athletic fighter, you know what I'm saying? He's a really good, his physical attributes are good, you know? He's got some pretty decent speed, he's got some pretty decent defense. He's got some crack. I could say that much about Anthony Dirrell is he is a pretty good puncher, and you know, he likes to get in the mix sometimes. Likes to really, you know, he could fluctuate between fighting on more of a range and then more of a, you know, an inside fight. But like I said, he doesn't really do anything that is like super spectacular. But his athleticism is very good. He's a very tough guy, from what I've seen. He does throw some pretty decent combinations, and they're not in the typical rhythm that you would expect from a combination puncher. He doesn't necessarily throw the combinations all at once. It's more of kind of like a off-tempo type of, not a off-tempo, but kind of a slower tempoed combination. You know what I'm saying? Like jab, wait a second, then he'll throw like the right hand, wait a second, then he'll throw like the left hand, wait a second, and then he'll throw like you know, another jab, and then, you know, repeat the combination. But it's really there's a little bit of time in between those combinations. They're not necessarily combinations per se, but it's like punch, but it's like sequential in a way, I guess you could say. It's in a sequence, but it wouldn't technically be considered a combination punch. Combination punches, but nevertheless, he is good at what he does. But if you ask me, his kind of one punch at a time combinations, they present opportunities to be defensively responsible, so I can understand why he does them. he isn't overly committed to a combination, reduces the chance of getting caught in between those combinations. But at the same time, a fighter who has, say, like a good jab can easily put a halt to his offensive momentum. You know what I'm saying? If you're taking too much time in between your offense, you know, if you already have planned to throw that next punch, well, you know, a jab right to your face could put a halt to all that. You know what I'm saying? So he does give opportunities to his opposition to stop his offense, you know. But I feel like that would matter in more of, you know, somewhat more of an important fight. This to me is not a very significant fight. This is more of a kind of stay busy fight. This is kind of a stay busy opponent. Norbert, we'll kind of talk about him a little bit. He's not necessarily the most athletic boxer, but he does have a pretty decent inside game. Only problem is he's not a very defensively responsible fighter. Or I guess he is. Every fighter has some sort of defensive responsibility, but his is a little bit less than others, I guess you could say. So if he tries to get on the inside, like Sakio Bika made it a really dirty fight with Anthony Dirrell. Sorry, I almost said his brother's name. Anthony Dirrell. And it frustrated him, and it seemed to make him cause errors, you know what I'm saying? Make him make mistakes. I think Norbert should focus on trying to get on the inside and try to take away Anthony Dirrell's range, because he has pretty rangy punches. He's a pretty rangy guy, and I think his power comes from keeping his opponent at the end of his punches, kind of like what I was talking about with Erislandy Lara in my last video. I think Anthony Dirrell obviously is a completely different fighter than Erislandy Lara, but I feel like their power lies at the end of their punches. Norbert, I could see him generating a little bit more power on the inside, so I would like to see him get on the inside and potentially make it, you know what I'm saying, a really uncomfortable fight for Norbert. You know, get in there, smother his offense. Norbert making it an uncomfortable fight for Dirrell if he can get in there and smother his offense. You know what I'm saying? Not let Anthony Dirrell have a chance to breathe. But if he's going to get in there, he's got to be prepared to be defensively responsible. He cannot back up with his hands down, and I've seen him do it in the Cullen Smith fight. He'll back off with his hands down. Dirrell, if he sees that shit, all it's going to take is one punch, maybe a couple of really good punches, and he might be able to get Norbert out of there. So you guys obviously see where I'm going with this. I am picking Anthony Dirrell to win. Nothing spectacular about me picking him, though. I'm pretty sure he is expected to win. I'm pretty sure he's expected to put on a good show. So I am going to be predicting him to, you know, kind of go in there and looking for that knockout. I don't see this fight as being all that competitive, to be completely honest. Norbert, he seems like a decent boxer, so I'm not going to bash him. I'm not going to call him a bum, a bitch, a tin can, a cab driver, all the fucking different types of names. He's obviously been in there with some decent fighters before, so he's a decent boxer, and he has a chance inside the ring. Like I said, if he can make it an ugly fight, and I usually don't want to see an ugly fight because I like clean boxing, but if he can make it an ugly fight, he has a good chance that he could pull off something, you know, or at least be more competitive in the fight than people are probably expecting him to be. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, I am picking Anthony Dirrell. Nothing special about that. He is the favorite to win. So even if he does win, I'm not going to be like, oh, I fucking told you, I'm such a beast at picking these winners. It's not even about that. You know, I'm just trying to be realistic here. I'm sure you guys are all picking Anthony Dirrell to win this fight. I guess even, you know, I'm no expert, believe me, but it doesn't take an expert to see that this fight more than likely isn't going to be competitive. But if Norbert really wants to make it competitive, he's gonna have to make it ugly. At least that's my opinion. But let me know what you guys think, man. I know it's not the most, you know, it's not the biggest fight to be excited about, but it is a boxing match. If you love boxing, you should watch this fight. I encourage anybody to watch tonight's card. You know, it's, like I said, it's boxing. You should enjoy it nevertheless. You know, help these guys out. Give them some views, man, because we want to see the, you know, Erislandy Lara, Anthony Dirrell, you know, they're two pretty significant boxers in their respected weight classes. I'd like to see them up against top competition again. So, you know, they're not going to be able to get there without fan support. So we should really watch this fight, guys. Support these guys and just enjoy the fact that you're watching a boxing match. But like I said, let me know what you guys think. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be picking Anthony Dirrell to win. so I won't really bother you guys with asking who you think's gonna win. But nevertheless, you know, share your thoughts about the fight. Also subscribe to the channel, share this video with your boxing homies, introduce somebody to boxing. You know, if maybe today wouldn't be the biggest, you know, wouldn't be the particular fight you would want to introduce somebody to, but still, nevertheless, man, call over one of your homies, or, you know what I'm saying, one of your family members, get them to watch the fight with you, man. You never know, it might get them interested. So we can never have enough fans in the sport. But that's all I got for you guys on this one. I will talk to you guys on the next one. Peace.